My name is Morgan Poughton and I'm a scientist. My field of study right now is immunology. So we take a patient's cells and we re-engineer them to target cancer. It's incredibly rewarding. It's hard, experiments fail, but when they go right and I get to see the benefit that it has on patients' lives and we're saving lives and improving lives, and it's worth it. I don't know anybody in my family that was a scientist. I barely knew anybody that was even in higher education. Both my grandparents migrated here as part of the Windrush movement. I would say that I've always been surrounded by just an incredible work ethic. My grandma had a plethora of jobs. I remember my first year of uni studying my anatomy course, and I'm pretty sure she knew more about the pancreas than I did. Had my nan had the luxury and the privilege of access to education as I had, she definitely had the capability and to do the same. And I guess it's the result of her struggling and the sacrifices that she made, that both grandparents made when they came here and they sought better life for their children, that I have the privilege to even be in this space and to learn. UCL is quite good in that we're quite a multicultural institute. We have people from all around the world. In terms of being a black ethnic minority, I mean, people look at me like I'm an exotic mango, or you get the comments of like, you're nicer than I thought you'd be. But you're conscious of how palatable you are to people around you. That guard comes off when you realise that you just have to be yourself unapologetically. You do have moments where people remind you that you're different. As a scientist at this institute, you often have people that try to sell you things. So companies that want to give you things, companies that want to do joint research projects. When it comes to meeting them, they're always surprised. So I'll go to collect them and I'll have to like stand in front of them, or I'll have to be like, hi, I'm Morgan, and they don't expect to see somebody that looks like me. I do not try to fit in. I do not dumb down my blackness. I wear my head wraps. I bring my plantain in my lunchbox. I do not. I'm apologetically myself because I love myself and I love being black. I was fortunate enough that I was quite a bright child, and I enjoyed learning and I was good at it. I guess maybe when I went to Latimer, yeah, I felt like I had to do better. So I came here for 2 years for my college education, but I actually got in here 5 years earlier in year 7. So you have to take an entrance exam, and I remember arriving at the entrance exam, and I remember just looking around at the kind of demographic around me, and I remember being like completely terrified and completely how aware of how different I was to everybody around me, primarily being the only person of colour. And I remember coming out of the exam, I had done really well, but I remember crying to my mum saying, please don't send me here, because I feared for how different I would be and what that would mean. My attitudes towards education and higher education changed. I was involved with a company called AC Diversity, so African Caribbean Diversity. They took us on a residential to Cambridge, and I remember that moment, arriving at Cambridge and thinking, wow, this is a whole life that I don't know about. This is a whole kind of existence that doesn't include me, but I didn't see anybody that looked like myself. I didn't see anybody where I was represented. So I thought, do you know what? I need to be here. I need to study here. And I fell in love with Cambridge at that trip. I kind of wanted that kind of academic pressure. I wanted more of a competitive environment. I wanted to be outside of my comfort zone. I wanted to challenge myself. So I thought coming back here would be a great idea, and to be fair, it was. I did really well. I got really good grades. Didn't always have a great time because of how different I felt, but I don't regret the challenge. I don't regret. Was there a point where I thought I wanted to quit? Yesterday. It's hard work. It is hard work, but if you don't have to work hard for it, what is it worth? That's how I feel. I feel sometimes things take work. Sometimes you have to plant seeds, and ultimately I enjoy it. So no, quitting is not an option. Because there's so many people that tell you that you can't, I could have stopped, I could have turned around at so many points. I could have said, this is too much, I don't want to do this is uncomfortable, this is hard. And I didn't. But at the time, it was, you do it and you don't know if there's going to be a reward at the end. This was completely a new landscape for me, and I didn't know this existed. If someone had told me, maybe I would have got here sooner. Kick down those doors, be in and take up those spaces where you want to see change, and acknowledge the importance of having strength in self. That's where this was actually a really hard one, to think about black female scientists. Because growing up, I didn't know any black female scientists. It's actually sad to say that I knew more about the exploitation of black female bodies in the medical field. It was maybe a lack of education, because they did exist. We know about the contributions to NASA and mathematics, but at the time I wasn't aware. There's still yet a black female individual to win a Nobel Peace Prize for science. It's still not a thing. Currently, there are women that are pioneering certain fields of science. Dr. Hadia Green, she's pioneering the use of nanoparticles in the treatment of cancer. So yeah, that's inspiration, just to be in the same space, in the same field, and possibly be in the same conversation as somebody that's, saving lives or making effective change. You're gonna hear no's. You're gonna hear no, you can't. You're gonna hear no, and you're gonna hear no again, and you're gonna hear no, and you might hear it again. But if it's something that's important to you, then you just have to continue. That's the only option. Those that have had less and have had to work harder for things, you have a certain work ethic. When you struggle, when you've been told no, and then you learn to take the no and come back again, and I do feel like that's character building. I do feel an advantage to have had the extra hurdles, or had to work more, because it just makes obtaining that more like satisfactory. What is involved in actually being a scientist? It's like, yes, I'm actively saving people's lives. Yes, we are here to cure cancer. Sometimes it sounds very simple, but that is essentially what I'm here to do. And I enjoy the research, I enjoy the field, I enjoy feeling like I make a difference.